Alright, game 4 of Live Sandbox versus DRX. We're just looking at the bans. Looks like Live Sandbox are taking away the Ore and the Sivir and the Kalista. Looks like they think Kingan's gonna pick it after Duff has gone 2-0 on it in this series. And then the Renata Yumi Vi bans for the side of DRX. I really don't think Vi was the problem, but I guess they want to pick Zeri again, and they're just assuming that if the Vi is banned, then they can't get locked down. This is your first pick for the side of DRX. Obviously, this champ has pretty high prio, and this is the first game it hasn't gone through in the ban phase. Live Sandbox trading back to Ari. First pick, once again, for Closer. He had a much better game on it last game, so don't mind as much. With the Ord taken away, looks like the Gwen is being hovered. I would hope that we see the Gwen Jax matchup then in this game, given how prevalent it's been in China and Europe and North America. But we'll see if it does come through or not, or if DRX is going to prioritize jungle AD carry picks. Poppy will be the lock-in. With Vi off the table, I would expect Trundle, and it will be the Jax counter matchup finally coming through. We'll see if Live Sandbox just opt to take the Trundle into the Poppy, or if they'll just steal away an AD carry like Zeri, and end up going for one of the lower tier junglers. I would expect DRX to start banning away jungles, and Live Sandbox to start banning away AD carries, like the Lucian and the Aphelios, since they've opted to pick the Zeri. If they don't want to do that, they can always just ban supports that they think are useful for those styles of champions. Will be the Aphelios ban coming through. And then I would expect like a Xin Zhao or Wukong ban. Well, I think both of them kind of suck into Poppy. They are the only like good junglers left. Or Trundle, sorry. Trundle obviously should be the first one because he's good in the Poppy. And then from here, actually, no, I really don't think you need to ban Wukong or Zen, since Poppy just giga counters them. I think it's probably better if they ban a support or a counter to whatever AD carry they're planning on playing. I didn't want to. It will be the Lucian ban coming through by the side of Live Sandbox. Wukong will be the eventual jungle ban. I would expect a Xin Zhao pickup, since he's sort of the last one left in the meta. He could also opt for the Lee Sin, but Lee Sin is not as high priority, and he especially sucks into Poppy. So I would be surprised to see Lee Sin for Kroko. Kroko is a bit of an Olaf connoisseur, so maybe he could go for that, but Olaf's fairly weak as of late. Will be the Skarner pickup. Skarner has been played in North America by Team Liquid. At the time, I thought it was more just Santorin pandering to Captain Flowers. But the champion does have some strengths in the current meta, especially against the style of champions on DRX. Lunking up the Jax is pretty valuable in a fight. Preventing Poppy from ulting is pretty valuable. Neela Hover from Deft could be a Neela Tarek duo. We saw this attempted in Europe, but unfortunately it didn't have much success. Neela Nautilus. Will be the Neela Nautilus. A lot of engage. I did see Kobe, one of the casters in North America, talking on his stream about how he thinks Nyla is, even post-nerf, quite strong. Just that AD carries haven't invested the time into learning her, because Zeri and Sivir are so omnipresent. Which could be, I guess we'll see in this game, if that's true. Lulu pick, I don't even know why they're hovering, they're gonna lock it in, right? Like, they picked Zeri, and Yumi's banned, so Lulu will be the pick. Actually would have liked to see DRX ban the Lulu way instead of the Wukong. But regardless, that's how these drafts have shaped up. So Jax should win this top matchup. The Azir should win the Ahri matchup. I don't know how this bot matchup goes. Neela's pretty short-ranged, but... So So I would expect Lift Sandbox to have push in the bot lane, especially since Lulu is such a lane bully of an enchanter. But we'll have to see how things end up playing out. Just given the way these lanes shape up, I would expect Krako to start topside and path down to his winning lane to secure a Scuttle Crab, and the opposite should be true for Pyosik. He'll start on the bot side and path up. We'll see if that does end up coming through or not, or if some other shenanigans will break out in the level 1. Every level 1 in the series has been pretty standard so far, so we might just keep that trend. Nice little Zeri poster for Prince. Finally gets the pick off. The Sandbox fans are eating good tonight. The Deft and DRX fans, however, appear to be in dire straits, backs against their wall. It's not like Deft hasn't been here before, but obviously you want to see the team you're rooting for win. That's what we're all here for. Believing in our players. And it looks like we're going to head on to the Rift in just a second. '22 summer. Let's have a look at these early game setups. Subterranean Nautilus there for Barrel. Quite a player favorite skin. Looks like Lift Sandbox have opted to 5-man invade, looking for the Spire. Meanwhile, DRX have invaded in the top side. Given that no one was defending them, they should know that there are 5 people in the bot lane. No vision going down just yet. Kyle gets a word on the Raptors. There's a word on the red buff by DRX. And both teams will just back away. Spire's claimed for the Skarner. Obviously, these are really important for the Skarner to get a hold of. You can see here, Pyosik's just waiting, doesn't know if there's anyone in those bushes ready to kill him. Actually, I am a bit surprised. It looks like both of these junglers will be starting on their bot side camps. Both should know where the other is. Pyosik has a word on the red buff, and since Skarner isn't on his, he should know that Krako is on his blue. Neither bot lane's opting to leash, though. You can see the... Oh, Kale stepping too far forward. So you can see Prince and Kyle, know that they're stronger in the early game, so they're stepping up. They don't want to let Def near this wave, because they know that the Zeri just flat out outranges. However, Kyle steps a little bit too far forward, eats a hook by the Nautilus, and the Ignite forces the Ghost and the heal out. So a lot of early game power gone for these two, a lot of early game survivability. Good zoning, though, by the Lulu. Def still has 0 CS. And it's important that Def gets CS, because the experience share that Nyla gets necessitates she last hits these creeps. You can see her just eating poke. Had to start at E level 1 as well because of how that came through. Isn't able to get any last hits. Is level 2 now. Skarner gets a gank off onto Zeka, but he's fortunately able to just dash out of there. Full clear bot side into his top camps. Meanwhile, Pyosik's going to look for an early gank. I actually like this, since both flashes were used. They should know with the flash in from Barrel that Pyosik is here. Pyosik misplayed that, I think. They will still end up getting the Lulu. Good for them. Krako knows that Pyosik is in the bot lane, running for the blue buff. Zeka should know this as well, and so he's fighting for the mid push to make sure that Krako can't do that. Thanks to that, Pyosik knows he has the time to take the Scuttle Crab in the bot side. Krako should just finish this up and then get vision on Pyosik's topside camps and go for his red. He might just go for his red. That's fine as well. Staying ahead in this pathing, Pyosik goes for a reset, manages to buy his early boots. Bit of a late dash by Dove. So have another look at this replay, right? So Barrel flashes into root Kyle. Here, they should know that the jungler's here, because they don't win this 2v2. Kyle obviously can't just flash away. Good sidestep by Prince after his flash. Pyosik wastes the dash on Kyle, which is as Kyle's flashing over the wall. He should know Kyle's doing that. In the end, still manages to pick up the kill. Red buff coming in clutch. As he bases and goes for his topside camps. The cons for this is that Kroko is going to be a lot further ahead in his clear. You can see him finishing up the Crux right now, and Gromp will be respawning soon. Pyosik, however, is just getting to his topside camps. Looks like Kroko's going to help Dove push in this wave. Honestly, since Kingen hasn't gone for a base, if Pyosik doesn't hover, they could maybe dive. Would be a bit risky with the counter-strike from Jax, though. But good chunk onto him by Dove. Does eat 2 tower shots in exchange, though. Looks like they're going to force Kingen away. Pulls Pyosik back up. Pyosik should have known this was coming, though. He should have just come up. Well, the cost for it is going to be a lot of minion creeps. I do wonder if they win this 2v2, though, under the tower. Pyosik goes in. And Kingen manages to dash back to the wave. No mid lane interference, so no one should die here. But the price of this is that Kingen's going to be about 10 creeps in a matchup he should be winning. And more importantly, he lost a lot of experience, which feels really, really bad into a counter pick matchup. Dove will just TP back, I would presume, to keep the pressure going. Actually, he's just going to take the free back timing. He'll miss a few creeps, but... So this means, the way this should play out, I think Kingen should just slow push this wave, and even though he just TP'd back to lane, he should just go for another reset once he finishes getting this wave in, buy a longsword, be a bit more on even footing. Dift and Barrel will be able to reset this wave. We'll see if Kyle's able to hold. Is going for it. Deft dashing forward just to make sure that this won't be frozen. You can see Kingen and Dove fist fighting a little bit. You can see how Jax is supposed to win this matchup. Even though Dove can Q through his counter-strike, Jax just does a lot of damage to the Gwen, can stay on top of her, prevent her auto-attack damage from coming through. Now that this slow push is crashing, I would expect Kingen to just go for a base. Looks like he's going to opt to... Okay, I think this is also fine by Kingen. He doesn't want to base and spend his gold, so he's opting to just... I can't remember the term. What the? I don't know why I'm blanking on that. That's what Singe do. Wait a second. Proxy farming. Oh, why was I forgetting what proxying was? That was weird. Either way, I quite like that sequence by Kingen. He's now equalized the CS due to the proxy, which is quite good for him. Does pick up the Ruby Crystal and the Longsword, so it looks like he'll be going for the Sunderer this game. Obviously, it makes a lot of sense. There's 2 fairly tanky members of the enemy team. Sunderer is just the best Jax item. You could make a case for Trinity Force in some instances, but I think the survivability is just really valuable on him, and the damage combined with the W is a lot. Now Pyosik's sitting a trap here, waiting for Dove. Dove should know something cheeky's going on here, though. Flash Force from Sekka, still gets hit by the charm, decent chunk comes through, but he does get the CS. Good dash away by Dove. Now Kingen's the one freezing. Def might be in a bit of trouble. Predator popped, I believe. Oh wait, no, Predator on cooldown. If Predator was still up, I think Kroko could have gone for a flash play there, but Def has Cleanse, which obviously doesn't work against suppressions like Skarner. However, it does mean that once the suppression ends, he should just be able to flash dash out of there. Bit of a scuffle here, but since Closer's out of mana, I don't think much will come of it. We'll see if DRX opts to take the first dragon or not, since they do have control of the bot side river. Closer basing, TP just off cooldown, so he should be back. Pretty favorable mid-state in that case for the side of Live Sandbox. Sekka's TP is still down, So he should be forced to reset here and walk back to the lane. No Drake will be started up. 1k gold lead for the side of DRX. I would wager... I don't see any tower plates taken. So... there is one on the top side. Yeah, it looks like most of the gap is just that first blood, as well as that plating for Kingen. He's still down CS though. Looks like they'll be starting up the Herald. And Deft is just going to take one more bot wave before resetting. We'll see if Prince and Kyle both opt into this Herald rotation. I think it should just be gone already. Let's say Mox a bit late to the punch. Kingen will give up a few creeps for that, but there it goes. Pioshik picks it up. There's that 200 local gold buff coming in. Beryl is pretty significantly ahead of Kyle in experience, and what's even more concerning is that Deft is also pretty far ahead of Prince. That's obviously just the Neela passive coming through. Won't make a huge difference. Now that Lulu is level 6, but something could have happened at that Rift Herald while she was still level 5. Everyone just returning to their lanes. Pretty even CS across the board. I guess I never talked about what team comps I expected to win this game. I think these are actually fairly even. Well, I think Zeri is really broken and Neela's a bit in the lower echelon of AD carries. I do think the Neela combinations have a lot of potential. I think Azir is just a lot stronger than Ahri though, so I would expect the mid laners in the team fights to be pretty heavily favored in the side of DRX. And Kingen should just beat Dove in their matchup, so DRX should have side pressure pretty much all game. The big ifs for me are how much work can Prince get done? Can Kroko find good suppressions? And sort of like in that same vein, Kingen being forced back. Of course, Dove did opt for the Ignite, so he'll win trades where he has the Ignite up. Good hook onto Kroko, knock back into the wall. Pioshik making sure that he can't flash this wall. Pretty intelligent, actually, by Pioshik there. Flashes over, Neela goes in, sucks both the bot lane in together. Will they be able to kill anyone here? No. It looks like Prince will just dash away, getting a lot of damage back as well. Pioshik slowed. They might be able to kill him here. Oh, Prince flashing forward. This man is just such a monster. Neela going in. Will she be able to pick up Kyle? No, flash forced away. Prince really turning this play into the favor of Liv Sandbox. This man is just on a tear. Holy. But what I was gonna say is there's one last little bit of like weird interactions that could happen. Obviously, when Kroko starts running down the members of DRX, Pioshik's gonna want to knock him away. If Prince can latch onto someone as the Poppy ultimate comes through, he can get a super pull off, which is more on Pioshik to like mess up than it is on Kroko to get it. But if that does happen, that could be a pretty nice team fight for Sandbox. So we'll just see. Good engage here. I really like what Pioshik's doing, making sure that Kroko can't flash this wall, waiting for Zeka to get there. Deft goes in onto the bot lane. Once this flash and ghost are expended though, they should just back out. They go too deep, and Pioshik ends up getting really, really slowed, has no more escape, his W's down, and he's just dead. And then Beryl with a really greedy pathing. Prince saw him on their ward walking through the tri-bush, just guesses that he'll be there, flashes forward. Deft is unable to pick up the kill onto Kyle. And you can just see what Zeri can do when she gets a lot of these stacks off, has her ghost running. This is what Deft should have been able to do last game, it just wasn't able to find success on it. Looks like Herald will be dropped in the top lane. I wonder if it'll get the charge off before platings go down. It'll be close. Ooh, Shelly? Oh, plates do go through. Really nice to pick up this lane for Kingen. He does have his Mythic and Dove doesn't, but due to the Ignite, it's going to take, I would say, 2 more items maybe for Kingen to really start steamrolling like he should. I could trade though. Unfortunately, eats a tower shot. Sidesteps to Q and jumps away from the ult. Really good by Kingen there. Pretty standard way to play out this matchup. As we see Barrel hooking onto Croco again. Stunned into the wall. Deft going forward. Can they get the blast count? Knocked up, pulled back by the Neil ulti. That should be the Drake. A lot of vision in favor of Lift Sandbox here, but with their jungler dead, I don't think there's much they can do. Kingen going forward. Duff does have the Ignite, so he has to be a bit safe here. If he eats a good Q, Dove ignites a bit early. I think he could have baited a bit harder. Should just force Kingen to base. Ooh, Kingen's actually looking for it. Respect. He knows with the Sunder he has a bit more HP than it looks like. But Dove as well. We'll still have another look at this replay. Croco trying to get the Scuttle Crab before the dragon. Gets hooked. Smites to steal it late because he doesn't want Pioshik to get it, but he should just smote it earlier and ran away. Really greedy of him. And then just gets pulled back and knocked up, put in the bouncy castle. That is one thing for this team called by DRX. They have a lot of knockups. And knockups are the only thing that you can't reduce with tenacity. So the Merc Treads kind of suck for most of these members. Like, sure, you'll reduce the Nautilus root and stun, the Jack stun, the Poppy stun, but for the most part, you're first to go Merc Treads into 3 physical damage champions, and you're not getting a crazy amount of value out of it. We'll see if anyone has opted to pay the tax so far. I would expect Def to. He's not the sort of long-range AD carry that can just hope to run away from Skarner. Zeka might not have to. Looks like Def will be going for a Samira-type build. Shield Bone to Collector. Neela is a lot like Samira in a lot of ways, with her dashes and her ultimates. Just with more sustain and lifesteal and not as much damage, I would argue. More... their Ws sort of have the same utility value. Just one for spells, one for autos. Looks like Barrel's getting engaged upon, forced to flash away. Def dashes away as well. Dove is here, sending the ults forward. Hasn't managed to connect onto anyone yet. As Pioshik will be able to limp out of there. Kingen does get the top tower in exchange for that, though. Croco's got a nice flank angle. Flash, impale onto Deft. Deft is just gone. Really, really good play by Croco there. Able to find that pocket of vision. Gwen is immune. Poppy ult misses. DRX just need to give this one up. There's no hope of fighting. Actually, I really like this play by Kingen. There's no TP on the side of Lift Sandbox, so he should be able to get 2 towers off of that. If Deft hadn't died contesting this, this would be super worth. Zeka is just fine, able to shuffle himself away. They actually peel off of the Herald because Kingen TPs. Bit confusing of a decision by Lift Sandbox. They should have just taken the Herald. They've already invested in it. Had it like half HP. And now Zeka canceled spaces. DRX might just have a window to take the Herald, which I don't think they should have had. 1k gold lead due to Kingen with the clean macro plays there. Now he's just resetting, going to catch the top wave, and ensuring that his team can get the Herald. Once they have this sufficiently secured, I think Zeka should TP bot lane, unless Dove peels away. It looks like they want to fight this. Huh. Zeka does need to base. We'll just TP in, I expect. Yep, TP back to the mid lane. Looks like a team fight is brewing over this Herald. Deft susses out Closer in the bush. Closer only on 1 item, so his burst shouldn't quite be there yet. As this top tower on its last legs, Kingen will pick up this wave. A lot of just testing each other, waiting for a mistake, and it looks like Deft is the first one to make it. Walks too far up in the river. Fortunately, the Poppy ult sends 2 out. Closer is a bit caught, forced to flash out the back. The fight looked really sketchy from Deft, but I guess just trusting in Pioshik to hit a really good Poppy Copter. Now Zeka using the Sand Shoulders to just zone away all of Lift Sandbox. Good chunk onto Dove. Herald actually despawns, so neither team ends up picking it up. Good combo by Barrel. Is stunned up though. Poppies eats the Impale, flashes out. Pioshik might just live here. Excellent Shurima shuffle by Zeka. Scoops up the entire enemy team. Gets 2. Prince goes down to Kingen. Kingen should have Kyle as well. Only Closer able to walk away from this one. Should be able to get the Ocean Drag as well. Ooh, Kyle. Yep, does go down. Triple kill for the side of Kingen. He's going for Hullbreaker too, so the Shax will just be unkillable in the side lane. Do they get the mid lane tower as well? Those last 5 minutes have been really, really valuable. And I apologize, made a missed call out. It looked like they did finish the Herald, and it was picked up by Pioshik. Hook goes wide there on Barrel as Deft is just killed earlier. And then we see here, keep your eyes on the Poppy ult. Bam, 2 out. Really good ultimate by the Lulu to knock up Deft as he's going in. Closer probably would have died a lot sooner had that happened. Pioshik picks up the Herald, and then just keep your eyes on Zeki here. Kroko really want to fight this with Prince. They know Prince is a fantastic AD carry. Has it in him to win these team fights. He starts getting the gun off. Everyone's low. Pioshik gets a really good flash out. Almost dead. Almost. And then, boom. Zeka. Flash, ulti. 3 knocked back. Prince barely manages to walk away. Kingen, flash to follow. Baron started up now for the side of DRX. I think they knew if Sandbox wanted to set up on the dragon, pulling them up to the top side. Not even bothering to clear out the ward. Looks like they really want to fight. Good hook onto the Gwen. Barrel's a bit caught here, though. Deft goes in. Ooh! Really nice engage by Zeka and Deft. Get all of the squishies together. Pioshik should be able to clean up Prince here. Wow, and DRX are just running away with this game off the back of that Rift Herald fight. Kroko is still alive. Good cleanse by Deft to just make sure that he won't get burst there. Looks like they're going to turn back onto the Baron with the Azir. They have the damage to do it. Kroko and Kyle, in the meantime, wanting to catch out Deft. Good blue ward. Flash over from Kroko. He's behind. Health bars from DRX a bit low. Kroko unable to get in the pit smites early for HP and then goes down. Deft might be able to dash onto Kyle here. Won't be able to. And they'll just reset and head out for the dragon. You have to imagine. Now this composition from DRX is unholy levels of ahead. The Azir should never be this far ahead, but he's just gotten so much work done. Keep your eyes on Deft's flash engage here. Actually, I think he just, flash, dash, sucks them in. Azir goes in, knocks him. Prince, unfortunately, just couldn't do anything in this team fight. The engage was too clean by DRX. The pink ward's making sure that Azir wouldn't be spotted. And then we see Kroko really, he gets so close. He's in smite range. Was hoping Poppy would throw a Q down. Doesn't manage to get it. Drake goes the way of DRX. Now they're going to push him with the Baron buff. 5k gold ahead. The Azir is already on his 2-item spike. Did opt for the pen build this game with the Comet instead of the first strike. Really like it though over the Crown Azir build that we see. I think Zeka knows that if he could just hit a good EQR onto Prince, then the Zeri is just dead. Hex Flash by Kroko. Does manage to get the ulti onto Deft, but unfortunately, Prince is knocked away, and this fight is just completely won for DRX. 5-man in the mid, Baron with the Herald push. They should get an inhib with this, if I'm being completely honest. Kingen with his Hullbreaker wants to go split push. Looking for Prince. Gets the stun off. A lot of damage. Prince is forced to E away. As we see here, Kingen has the Hullbreaker. If Sandbox need to respond to mid lane. Otherwise, DRX is just going to keep going. They have the Herald. They can take the tower. They can take the inhib. They can take the Nexus tower. As Liv Sandbox is pulled away. Kingen just waiting for a wave to finish up this bot inner tower. Inhib does go the way of DRX. Gold lead has ballooned to 8,000. Should be 9,000 as soon as this inner tower goes down. Looks like we'll have a Hex Trigger pickup for Kingen, just to better match up it to the Gwen and the Ahri in the side lanes. You can see he's already prioritizing the side lanes with the Hullbreaker pickup. And then, honestly, it should be third item for Deft here as well. He hasn't based in quite a while. Oh, no. Just the QSS. He is a little bit less fed than the rest of his counterparts. You can see here, the Impale onto Deft, but with his W running, the Zeri just can't get any damage off. And then Pioshik hits a really clean ultimate onto the Zeri. And the fight is just won. Baron timing out in 20 seconds. 4K on the power play for the side of DRX. Really good for them. Some momentum going for them in this series. Sekka topping out the experience charts. Level 15. Prince is level 12. You can see the Nyla is level 14. Her experience passive really coming in clutch. Liv Sandbox just hoping to get some cheese plays. They're pretty far out of this game. The Zeri only on 2 items. In fact, even going for the LDR, just due to the tankiness of the DRX composition. Can't get the Infinity Edge. It will be a long time before the Zeri is able to truly do Zeri things. And unfortunately, Kronko has had some good plays, but aside from a pick onto Deft, hasn't been able to find much. I think this game really snowballed out of their control when they peeled off of Shirley to go stop Kingan's teleport bot. And then the second fight at that Herald just did not go their way, and it's just been completely lost from there. Bit of a questionable call from the side of Sandbox. You have to imagine. We'll see if they're able to fight this way out from this one. DRX was in a similar position last game with the Zeri. Unfortunately, we're not able to. If DRX aren't able to close this one out, then that will be the end of their run in Korea for this year. I can't imagine they would qualify for Worlds. They were 4th place in spring. This would make them tied for 6th place in the summer. Don't think that's enough championship points to qualify with Liv Sandbox advancing. We'll have to see if Liv Sandbox manage to beat Gen G in the semifinals, assuming they win the series, then for sure DRX are out of the running. So it'll all come down to this game. Will DRX be able to close this one out? Was a Cloud Soul. Bit unlucky for the side of DRX. If they can manage to get a couple Cloud Dragons, though, obviously Zeri and Ahri get a lot of value out. The Skarner gets a lot of value out, but unfortunately for them, this Soul should just be as good as DRX's. And looks like DRX are just going to posture around this Baron. Single Cloud Drake, if Sandbox get it, yeah, sure, it's an objective bounty. They're 10k up, who cares? Well, 9k up if we're splitting hairs. Honestly, Kingen can just solo that one. You see Elixir bot for Prince. He knows they're going to have to fight for this Baron, and that it's likely going to be the game-deciding fight. Just wants to get as much upfront power as he can. If the Baron goes the way of DRX, then they'll just take the remaining end towers and push for the end. Cloud Dragon does go the way of Kingen. Just ensuring that Liv Sandbox can't get any objective bounty, not a single foot in this game. Only 1 tower claimed by Liv Sandbox. Aside from the 6 kills, that's the only thing they have to their name. No objectives managed to be picked up by them. And you can see with the 4 sweepers that they're on full time clearing out their jungle of vision duty. Can't get any deep wards in. Supers on the Nexus towers, but they know they just have to fight this Baron. Like, who cares? Kraken just has to go in, hope that he steals. Maybe they can get a pick. Closer tries to find one onto Zeka. Might get one onto Barrel, but a lot of ultimates already used so far. Barrel does have the flash, manages to escape. They do stop the Baron take it, and the inhibitor respawns, so actually pretty good for Sandbox there. As good as they could hope to get, with the exception of maybe closing out that kill on Barrel. Unfortunately for them, despite how behind they are, all the gold is on the Azir and the Jax, so they can't get a shutdown off of killing the Nila, who will probably be the easiest target to pick up in a team fight. As we just go back to clearing the waves, I expect DRX to just reset, retake Baron Vision, restart an attempt once they have their spells back up. Obviously, Barrel had 6 flash, so not the end of the world that he can't use this flash. With the prominence of the Hex Flash has always been a useful rune, but since junglers are starting to get a lot more value on it, like Poppy and Skarner, I wonder if we could see a nerf coming through to the rune. Nothing more than a cooldown nerf, I would expect like 30 seconds once used. But that doesn't really change the fact that Hex Flash finds value in moments like this, where if Kroko had Burn Flash, he could still find a spot. Ooh, isn't able to sneak into the bush, he'll just be caught here. Flash forward by Deft. Notice that if you can secure the kill into Kroko, flash by Pioshik, that the Baron is just theirs. Good stun. Unfortunately, Kroko, try as he might, shouldn't be able to get out here, as he will be picked up by the side of DRX. That's Baron, and likely the game. Nice try by Kroko. Was trying to find pockets in the vision, get a hero play. Thought DRX had already moved into the river and was on the Baron. Polymorph by Barrel. They might have him caught, but the Poppy ult comes through, as well as the Nautilus ult to interrupt. Will Prince be able to find Kingen? Nope, Baron just go down to DRX. And they're just going to push for the end. Looks like they're going to go through the top lane. Kingen's running to the bot lane. Obviously still wants to make use of his Hullbreaker. So have another look at this. Kroko, unfortunately, Deft had a later reset than everyone else. Walks into him. Good flash, juke, and E to slow the members of DRX. Unfortunately, does just go down. And let's see if they can manage to shut down the split push from Kingen. That could be good. Looks like Deft will base for his Infinity Edge here. There it is, coming through. And now DRX, 2 minutes left on their Baron, ready to sync up their waves and push through. 1-3-1 looks like to be the setup. Although they might be going for 4-1 through mid. You can see Zeki here. 4 items, has 10 stacks on the Dark Seal, just quite a monstrous Azir. Level 18. Kroko has found another angle, but unfortunately QSS on Deft. He has to pull Zeka. Just gets knocked into the wall and dies. Unfortunately, this is the sad life of a Skarner that's behind. You just can't get on top of anyone. You never have the vision pockets you need. And unfortunately, Poppy is just really good at stuffing engages like that. So we see Dove. Already has the ultimate, doesn't find much damage onto Barrel. Just too far behind. And with the 1000... That's not the name. with the snips out from Gwen, there's not much teamfight ability aside from a miracle Zeri play from Prince. Fortunately for Prince, I think he's just too far behind. Nautilus and Poppy have his number this game, are not letting him get anything off. Hook goes wide by Barrel. Good sized up by Closer at least. Just stalling for time. Obviously this is a best of 5. For the first time in the series, after this game, Lift Sandbox will be able to have side selection. That means any drafts that they've planned around having side selection will go their way. Would have been really big for DRX if they'd been able to pick up the last game. Like, I think they should have been able to, just given the compositions. Unfortunately, Kroko, the Vi connoisseur, doesn't allow that to happen. So we'll have another look at this. Wants to go for Zeka, because Deft has the QSS, but unfortunately just gets eaten to the wall by Poppy and dies. Kind of just have to go for plays like this, though. You're losing the game either way. Maybe you can get a pull onto Zeka. Maybe you can manage to Kick the shutdown onto Prince. Infinity Edge does come through, so the Zeri is nothing to be scoffed at. If he can manage to evade the CC from Pioshik and Beryl, they might be able to win this fight. Baron is off. Unfortunately, only one inhib tower left, and 5-man push through for DRX will nullify the whole breaker. So that does suck for Kingen, but it looks like they're just too far ahead. Tower goes down. This Prince eats half his HP from the Azir poke. This Pen Azir just really putting in the work. DRX playing really slow and cautious. Closer goes forward, hits the charm onto Beryl. Dove going forward as well. Shirley is popped by Kyle. Prince getting some damage off in the backside. Sent back out. Really good pop ult by Pioshik, and the rest of his team will just follow. Unfortunately, Prince is not able to make the magic happen here. Closer will be picked up. Flash hook missed by Beryl. Pioshik goes into the stopwatch. Good flash E by Kingen. Gets the flash out of Prince. Snipes one down, but unfortunately, the Nexus towers are falling. The teammates are falling, and this game will just be hook finally connects. Prince goes down, and with that, as does the Nexus of Live Sandbox. Really important tank here by DRX to keep themselves alive. We'll see how they do in Game 4.